Verse 4, we read, "Nevertheless, I have this against you." And then underline this, that you have left your first love. You have left your first love. They left their first love. You can fill that in on your outlines. The original Greek word used there for love is agape. It's the most deep, selfless, and sincere form of love and affection that exists. And apparently the church at Ephesus used to have it, but somewhere along the way, they lost it. They were still living righteously, loving good, hating evil, doing good works, but the affection and the passion for Jesus was gone. They had become more passionate about the things of God than they were about God himself. They loved their church and their programs and their theology more than they loved Jesus. Ouch, right? And so Jesus has to say to them, I love all that stuff you're doing. It's great. But you're so into the stuff that you've forgotten about me. You've forgotten about actually knowing and loving me directly. When you read the Bible, it becomes clear that there are certain characteristics that define a Christian. But there's one characteristic that stands above all. A Christian loves God. A Christian loves God. Then one of them, a lawyer, asked Jesus a question, testing him and saying, "Teacher, which is the greatest commandment in the law?" Jesus said to him, "You shall love the Lord your God with all your heart, with all your soul, and with all your mind. This is the first and the great commandment." It's from Matthew 22. And when Peter came face to face with the resurrected Jesus for the first time since denying all knowledge of him 3 times, Jesus had only one question for Peter. Do you love me? Do you love me? So would you write this down? The defining characteristic of a Christian is their love for God. It's their love for God. Are you in love with Jesus? And I mean that seriously. I'm not asking if you love Jesus like you love your country or like you love your favorite food. I'm asking if you're in love with Jesus, because those two things are vastly different questions. And what cuts me so deeply about this is the realization that I can do all the Christian stuff. I can study the Bible, pray, serve at church, tithe, evangelize, practice random acts of kindness, all without being in love with Jesus. My life can be packed full of God's stuff, and yet I can still miss Jesus.